Hello there fellow modelers, Steve here, and it's review time. A couple of kits to review for two group builds that I've signed up for, and I'll do an update video straight after this on a different disc of course, and I'll try and get them uploaded at the weekend because it's been a while since I've did any updates, videos, whatnot. So we'll start off with the first group build that I've signed up for, and this is, it's a Pacific group build and it's run by a guy called Matt Hills. Now, judging by his accent, I assume he's either Australian or New Zealand, and he lives there obviously. So correct us if I'm wrong and I've got your country of origin mixed up. But it's a Pacific group build and it runs from, well, it started on the 4th of June, which was about a fortnight ago, and it ends on the 15th of September. June, July, August, September, about 3 months roughly work. Now I know I've watched his, hi there Matt, just to say that right, I've watched his entry video and he's doing the Tamiya 1/48th scale A6M0, which I have actually got in me stash, but I thought I would do this. And he said there's anything, any country, any item that served in the Pacific War, obviously between the 7th of December to August 1945. Now I've picked this, which is the 1/48th scale Grumman F6F3 Hellcat, and it's made by a firm called Oteka. That's Japanese, got made in Japan. Now, I've never heard of this, and I think it might be a very old kit because it has raised panel lines, but it doesn't look as though there's any remnants of flash. It looks pretty good. I picked this up at Telford last year. Carrier aircraft, which is my speciality, and you can see by the box art this is the US Navy version. I think this come into service 1943, and it was the first aircraft that could take on and beat the Zero. Right, so we'll put that there. Now, there's the instruction sheet, and obviously it's all in Japanese. Now, I can't speak Japanese, obviously, so I can't read that, and I can't even, it's got it there in English there. What you get is a US Navy version and the version that served with the British Pacific Fleet. Now I know CV-10, that is the USS Yorktown. CV-16, which is the USS Lexington, and it hasn't got a name for the British version. I don't know what fighter squadrons they are. I'll have to have a see if it's gone. No, it hasn't. There's none. Basic US Navy colour scheme, Royal Navy colour scheme of the time. You get 1, 2, 3. Obviously the fuselages, the two fuselage halves were cut off and the canopy is separate. But it's got quite a bit of detail in the cockpit there, the side panels, and obviously the control panel. I'll try and put a bit more detail in the cockpit because obviously you'll be able to see through the glass, because I don't think the glass moves as always, goes backwards and forwards. Wings, fuselage, propellers, undercarriage legs, fuel tank, bombs. Pretty straightforward. I think you get 8 sections. Oh no, you don't. You get 13. The canopy is fixed. So whichever version you build, it either has the fuel tank or the bombs. And I can't say anything about that as a basic scheme. This is the colour sheet that you get. That's the Royal Navy in 1945, and that's the US Navy in 1943. You can see the contrasting schemes. And the guy that's flying this, he's got 4 kills, so he's not quite an ace yet. I can't think what that emblem is there. Put my magnifying glasses on, see if I can see. Oh, it looks... I can't make it out. No, I can't make that emblem out. I don't know what squadron it is. But that's the colour scheme sheet there. And it has... It said 3 colour schemes on the instruction sheet. Oh, there you can see it a bit more here, but there's only 2 on the decal sheet. No, there's not, there's 3. And there's the decals, which is, they look pretty thick. I think I might have to put them beside the windowsill to stop the air, take the yellowness off. There's the Royal Navy version. That's one US Navy version with the yellow. That was the first one that come out, I think. That was 1943. No. CV10. 1943. They're both 1943, the American ones. Different stars and bars. And that's what it is. I think it's a cartoon dog of some description. And 4 kills. Obviously, if I build the Royal Navy version, I'll just omit these because they're too thick, and I'll just paint them on. So that's that. Right, and here's the 2 fuselage halves. Oh yeah, I can see them. Raised panel lines, but they look pretty crisp, clear. And there is room for a bit of detail on the fuselage half, because I got some of this at... Where did I get this from? I got this from, it was a model show in Darlington, the Soaring Lance. This stuff to make like ribbon on cockpit walls and things like that, just to add a bit more detail. Put that to one side. And that's the polythene bag. Now here's the wings. Now it's got quite a bit of detail in the undercarriage bays, which is good. And it has, I think, the raised panel lines on the wings, but they look good. And it's got the ribbed effect on the ailerons and the flaps. But that's good detail in the wheel bays. Do a bit of dry brushing on there and it'll come out fine. And there's the 2 tail planes, which were on a sprue but they weren't when I got it. And there's the canopy, which is a full complete. I'm not going to bother, well, I don't know, I might. No, I'm not. I'm not going to bother sawing it there so you can slide it back. I'll just leave it full. And that's, I don't know what that is. That's another bit of glass, but the canny the framework, it's very clear, so it shouldn't, and with it being a 1/48 scale, it shouldn't take much to mask it off. And here's the other sprue, propeller, wheels, detail on the wheels good, fuel tank, bombs, engine. It has got a tiny bit of detail on the side panels for the cockpit and the control panels. I can really fetch that out with a pen that I've got, was just a cheap set out of the works, silver pens, because I'm actually using it on a sports car that I'm building, but I'll show you that when I do the update. And that's that. And actually with this, oh, there's the seat as well. And it has seat belts on as well, so I can pin them up. Pardon me. And actually you got with this shows you how old it is. How are you supposed to build a model with a tube of glue that big? That is to go in the bin, and it's never hit the bin. Right. So that's me entry for Matt Willer's Pacific Group build. I'll put them back in there. It'll be good to see what other people are building, how many people's actually signed up for the group build. Can it be? Ah yes, that's it. So with it obviously being started on the 4th of June, I could start that now, but I've got a few kits to finish off before I actually start that, so I can get right into it. And that's my entry for the Pacific Group build. Right, the second one is my entry for UK scale modeler, which is Ian Poulton, I think you would call him. Hi there Ian. Great group build with the MiG, enjoyed that. He's doing an interwar wings group build that starts on the 1st of August and it ends on the 1st of December. So I'm doing a review now just so I can get it in. Right, this is a very old kit. A monogram 1/72nd scale Ford Trimotor. As you can see by the box, it came in the box obviously, but all the sprues were all in bits, so I've just cut them up and put them in a chocolate box and kept the cover box just for reference. Trans World Airlines, known as the Tin Goose, the corrugated fuselage and wings, very reminiscent of the Ju-52, which used the same type of construction. And there's the 3 engines, fixed wheel undercarriage, tail wheel. Right, we'll start off with that, we'll put that there. And we'll get the instruction leaflet out. Monogram. A very old make this. Brief history of the plane itself. Guy taking a photo at an airfield. And you can tell it's old. Look at the instructions. think you get it goes to 14 sections. Wings, sections, engines, wheels, fixed, painting your model, how to apply decals. Very, I think it's probably been the 1950s. It's got on the top wing, it has monogram models incorporated, but it doesn't have a date on. And I can't find a date anywhere on this. No, it doesn't have a date. Ah, 1967. God, how old is that? That's 50. That's 50 years old. 50 years old. I was 3 in 1957. Fuselage windows. It went right overboard with the elastic bands holding the wings together in the fuselage, which is what I still use sometimes. That's a throwback to when I was a kid when there was nothing else to glue it. Propellers such and such, there's the decals, which I won't be using, I'll be doing something else. But I'll save that for later. That's the decals. Very yellowy. I could use the identification numbers, but obviously not the Trans World Airlines. And here's a little hobby catalogue that I got with it. Classic cars. Some of them cars look nice. Show cars. Big car models. 1/8 scale. They'll be really big. Racing cars, civilian military aircraft. And that's it. Now the parts. That's the inside. Very basic. I might put the ribbon in the inside as well, because you can see through it with the windows because they're quite big. Made in the USA. The rib effect. Engines there. The inside. This is something I've never seen before. You put them together like that. And the bottom's missing. You glue the bottom in. Obviously some probably was out in 67, but the moulds are probably off the 1950s. And there's the top wing. And the flaps. I don't know what them are. I'm going to chop them off. As you can see, it's all in bits. There's the bottom wings. They've got them on as well. Engines. And there's the bottom of the fuselage. I suppose if you could really go to town and put seats in there. Anyway, I'm not going to bother taking them all out of the bag. There's all the bits in there. the tailplane, wheels, engines, wings. That's the undercarriage, propellers, and there's the canopy. Because I didn't have, well, I bought this kit purposely to do it in this version, because when it was mentioned that he was starting another group build, I didn't have many interwar kits in me stash. I think I've got a monogram again. I think it's a Boeing F4B biplane carrier based fighter, but apart from that, that's about it, I think. Now, the version I'll be doing it in is, I'll have to get it on my laptop because I've got a picture of it. You can see the back of my laptop. Right. Pictures. Pardon me seeing the back. Ah, there it is. Oh. Right, let's see if I can zoom in. Now that's a Ford Trimotor that is featured at the beginning of the film Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now if anybody's seen that film, and who hasn't, that is the plane at the beginning that he takes off from Shanghai with Short Round and Woody Scott aboard, and it's piloted, it's flown by Lao Che Airways, he's just had a fight with sort of an adversary, and the two pilots halfway through the flight jump out the plane and leave them to it, and they'll actually jump out with the raft, and it's all a bit fantasy plane, but it's a good film anyway. And that's the one that I'm going to do it in. Now, its basic livery, I think it's silver, as probably all the Trimotors were, with red engines, red wheel hubs, a red trim there, and on the other side is the door, and it's got Lao Che Freight, because you actually see him opening the door, and he says, "Nice try, Lao Che," and he shuts the door, and it's Lao Che Freight, and then you see Lao Che, and he starts laughing. And I bought this Trimotor just for that purpose, because I'm a massive fan of Indiana Jones. So that's the one that I'm going to do it in. Now it should be basic, it's just a question of red paint and silver. And the Lao Che Air Freight, which will be done in lettering, which I've got knocking about somewhere. But that's the one that I'm doing it in. I did try to get it printed out, but the printer wouldn't, the photo that I had, it wouldn't print out for some reason. So that's the version that I'm doing with that. So that's my two kit reviews for tonight. Now I've got a few kits to finish, about 2 or 3 before I start them. Obviously can't start the Trimotor till September, but it'll be interesting to see actually what people build for the interwar wings group build, because it's a period of aircraft. You can either have fighter aircraft that you'd go as far as the Spanish Civil War, and it's mostly all, I know Ian's doing Junkers German civil aircraft, but it'll be interesting to see what other people are doing. So that's my kits reviews for today, and like I say, I'll upload this at the weekend sometime, and I'll do another kit review, another update of what kits that I'm doing. Right, so that's me done for today. So happy modelling, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye now.